This book and a Mayo man on the strength of a 10 bob note is for sale. It's out in the lobby. All the proceeds from this book will be going to the Roscommon Hospice project that we heard about yesterday at here in the conference. But it's only $18, and the proceeds go to there. And it's about his life story, and he was really a very nice speaker last night. So just to let you know, there is a table outside with this book. It's for $18 out there, and it'll be going to the Roscommon Hospice. Now we will begin this morning with our educational panel.
Thank you very much. This is picking up okay. My name is Gary Cates. I'm the Senior Vice Chancellor with the Ohio Board of Regents. We are based in Columbus. We are a cabinet-level agency in the Governor's Administration. The Ohio Board of Regents was formed close to 50 years ago when in Ohio we expanded our higher education system delivery system in a very great manner, and that was the starting addition of community colleges, regional campuses of our then state university system. We have acquired other universities since that time to the point that today we have 14 four-year institutions in the state, 24 regional campuses of those universities, 23 community colleges, and they also have some satellite campuses. And then we also have adult programming, particularly with adult basic literacy, through about 58 programs in the state there. So we are an extensive network of providing higher education or post-secondary education to the citizens of the state. I'm very honored to be here today at the request of my good friend, Mr. Pat Sweeney, who I served with in the Ohio General Assembly for a number of years. And even though we come from different parts of the state and we're different parties and so forth there, we've always had a very good friendship here. And I know it's still good because he still asked me to come back up here. So, but I appreciate Senator and Representative Sweeney there for having me come here today. I'm very fortunate to have 4 panelists with me today. 3 are from the state of Ohio, representing a community college, a public university, and a private university. Then we have Mr. Joyce, who's with us from Ireland. So at this time, I'm going to give a brief introduction of our panelists, and then I'm going to allow them to give a description of where they're from and what they're doing, and then we'll see how the dialogue and questions will take us from there. So please indulge me here. I'm not going to read these to make sure I get it incorrect. So, to my left here is Dr. Marcia Ballinger, who is the Provost and Vice President for Academic and Learner Services with Lorain County Community College. Dr. Ballinger provides leadership in developing, implementing, evaluating, improving the learner services and educational programs of the college to fulfill its state's mission. She represents the learner services academic programs within the community and at state and national levels. Marcia also serves as co-campus lead for the Completion by Design project funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which has recognized Lorain County Community College as a national innovator in increasing college completion. Additionally, Marcia has been a driving force of the college's Entrepreneurship Innovation Institute, where traveling and business support services are all available in a one-stop environment for employers and entrepreneurs. She holds a PhD in Education, Community College Leadership, and is an alumnus of Lorain Community College's University Partnership Program, having earned her MBA from Kent State University. To my right is Ms. Jean Colleran.
No, I'm a doctor too.
Okay.
Okay.
Dr. Jean Colleran, so sorry about that.
Otherwise, I'd be fired.
Okay. Dr. Colleran is also the Academic Vice President of John Carroll University. Dr. Colleran leads John Carroll's ongoing commitment to outstanding teaching and leading while helping to raise the university's profile for distinctive excellence. She previously served as the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences and has been a member of the Department of English since 1987. In addition, Dr. Colleran teaches Irish literature and has helped lead the university's acclaimed Summer Institute in Peace and Conflict Resolution in Northern Ireland. She holds an undergraduate degree in English from John Carroll University, a master's degree from Case Western Reserve University, and her PhD from the Ohio State University. To my right, again, is Dr. Deirdre McGeehan, who is the Provost and Senior Vice President, Academic Affairs and the Chief Academic Officer and Chief Operating Officer at Cleveland State University. Dr. McGeehan oversees 9 university academic units and provides leadership in coordinating university operations in both the academic and non-academic sectors. She is responsible for a broad portfolio of responsibilities that include the university library, Office of Research, Division of Student Life, the Honors College, and Graduate College at Cleveland State University. Dr. McGeehan holds a Bachelor of Science in Sociology from Queen's University in Belfast, a Master's degree in Sociology from the University of New York, and a PhD in Geography from the Open University in England. Our final panelist today is Mr. Tom Joyce, who is the Chief Executive of the Galway University Foundation. Mr. Joyce joined Galway University's foundation as CEO in September of 2005, having previously spent approximately 25 years in business. He was managing director of Connaught Court Group Limited, an Irish company now part of the CWS Group. He is a former director and founder of Microclean, and Microclean International based in Holland. In a non-executive capacity, he has served as chairman of National Breast Cancer Research Institute, president of the Textile Services Association in the United Kingdom, and chairman of ETSA in Brussels. He is a fellow of the Marketing Institute of Ireland and a Freeman of the City of London. I'm not sure where a Freeman is, so I'm looking forward to, if you have around to us what that is. So with that, I'd like to turn the program over to our panelists, who are going to give a brief discussion about their institution and their roles and so forth, and hopefully give you an idea of how we tie together the various aspects of higher education in the state of Ohio. So, Dr. Ballinger.
Thank you. Thank you, Vice Chancellor. I want to echo my thanks to Senator Sweeney and also to you, Vice Chancellor, for the opportunity to share with each of you about the community colleges in Ohio and the mission of community colleges. In 1963, Lorain County Community College became the first community college with a permanent campus in the state of Ohio. That was in response to the Truman Commission in 1947, following World War II and the GI Bill, really looked at how to create more local opportunities for the residents within the United States. And so the thought behind that was, how can higher education be placed essentially within a 50-mile radius of every individual? And so this system of community colleges nationally was born. Today we have over 1,200 community colleges, and they are there are 5 common core components to a community college. One of the first was something called University Parallel. We've translated that into what are our transfer programs. So oftentimes students start at our institutions, earn their associate's degrees, and then transfer to a 4-year university. We've expanded upon that concept at Lorain County Community College with the creation of our university partnership, which certainly Senator Sweeney and Senator Cates had helped to support in its overarching development. Today we have 12 universities that are literally on our campus that deliver more than 40 bachelor's and master's degrees, so that not only do the residents of our community have direct access to the associate's degree, but they can continue on through by earning their bachelor's and master's degrees. And that is, again, one of the core components of community colleges. The second aspect of community colleges are what we describe as our applied technical programs. So very often we're preparing individuals to succeed in careers and jobs that are in direct response to the local needs of a community. So programs such as nursing, other allied health professionals, engineering technologies, information technologies at the applied level. We also have a mission for developmental education, and that has been inherent in our mission since 1947. And that really speaks to the adult population and the adults who have been out of school for a long time in many cases before they decide to return to school for continuing education. The fourth then actually is continuing education. So continuing education from a professional development perspective. And the fifth core component to the community college mission is community service. So community truly is our middle name, and we have partnerships within the community that extend to how do we help to further advance the overall quality of life within the communities in which we reside. Since we've been established over the past 60 plus or 50 plus years, we have had over 40,000 residents graduate with associate's degrees who continue to live in our community and give back to our community. Through our university partnership, and I would share with you that Cleveland State University and John Carroll University are partners within our university partnership. And we have awarded over 4,000 bachelor's and master's degrees since the creation of the university partnership in 1998. It was actually voted on by the residents of Lorain County. One of the interesting aspects of the community college is we were founded by having 3 overarching sources of funding. That is the student tuition and fees, the state share of instruction, as well as local taxpayer support. And that creates, I think, that greater tie back to the community to continually ensure that we are meeting those local needs. And so the university partnership was a concept that was developed as a direct result of the needs expressed by our community, and they voted to create a tax to support that. So in a nutshell, community colleges in Ohio, there are 23. We work very collaboratively. We work back with our university partners, and we are representative of the 1,200 plus community colleges nationally that enroll 8 million students per year. We actually are the sector of higher education that has 45% of all enrollments in higher education, and we have 55% of all first-time students in education. So with that, I will turn it back to you.
Thank you, Marcia, very much for the nice introduction about Lorain County Community College. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Colleran, who will tell us a little bit about one of our private institutions in the state of Ohio, John Carroll University.
Thank you. I want to frame my remarks under 3 categories. So the first is to talk about John Carroll as a Jesuit college. The second is to talk about John Carroll here in Ohio. And the third, because I do see some young people here, to make a quick comparison about what one would experience at the level of the classroom. If you were in a classroom at John Carroll, or in a classroom at NUIG, because of our partnership here, I can describe that briefly. So John Carroll University is one of 28 colleges and universities in the United States. Our sister colleges and universities are well known to you: Boston College, Georgetown, all of the Loyolas, some with city names like the University of San Francisco, St. Louis University. Those 28 Jesuit colleges and universities have a mixture of Jesuit and lay leaders. I'm one of the 3 women provosts in the United States, and there is 1 woman president. After 400 years, they saw some wisdom, slow but steady, I presume. Jesuit organizations number over 300 globally, and about 180 educational institutions. In Ireland, at the higher education level, they have more or less disappeared or declined. There was a Milltown Institute of Philosophy and Theology in Dublin, which was run by the Jesuits. That has become, I believe, part of the Loyola Institute. Interestingly enough, attached to Trinity College, not to Newman's College, UCD. So there's some stories there that I'm not privy to. However, we also have many, many high schools, secondary schools. St. Ignatius High School here in Cleveland, St. Ignatius College in Galway are contemporaries. And of course, anyone who studied literature knows that in the declension of Joyce's Stephen Dedalus, he starts out at the premier Jesuit secondary school in Kildare, and his father continually moves the family into poverty, so he has to go to a worse Jesuit school, Belvedere. For a minute, he toys with the notion of becoming an accursed Jesuit, and thinks that that's pretty attractive because he could execute all manner of pridefulness and be respected for whatever, but he gives that up in favor of, let us say, more material and corporal pursuits, that is to say, brothels. So the Jesuit institutions in Ireland are at least part of the story of secondary education. By far, the largest number of Jesuit institutions of education are in India. There's probably 30 or so, or more than in the United States. But there's also primary schools, religious centers, etc. So these schools are bounded together to primarily to be a view of education as essentially instrumental. And what I mean by that is we do have large research capacities, medical schools, professional schools within Jesuit education, but no education is divorced from discernment of one's personal talents and service to one's community. And that is at the level of the student. So when I say instrumental, there's a view of learning, of course, as in itself good, learning for research, whatever the outcomes of the research are, or on the other hand, complete narrow attention in some of our very excellent but smaller schools than most Jesuit schools to the classroom experience. Jesuits put themselves right in the middle of that conversation. All of our institutions in the United States, with the exception of Fairfield and Holy Cross, are master's or doctoral granting institutions, and we walk this tension between classroom excellence and being informed scholars, so we are research teachers. So that is our global footprint, in a sense that Ignatian pedagogy, as we call Jesuit education, has always been a global enterprise. It has not been attached to financial aid in the government, in federal or state departments. And so, in a very broad terms, we would not be presenting ourselves as making a democratic citizenry as much as an ethically informed global citizenship. Hence, we produce people like Castro, Clinton, Pat Buchanan, the whole spectrum of political views. Jesuit education has always been associated with the humanities, so lots of actors, Denzel Washington went to Fordham, I could roll off the tongue lots and lots of names of businessmen, actors, politicians, but all with a fair degree of independence of thought, which is a key characteristic. Here in Cleveland and in Ohio, there are two Jesuit colleges in Ohio. We're part of the Midwest province. But here in Cleveland, John Carroll has about 4,000 students, 3,000 undergraduates, 1,000 graduate students. We are primarily an undergraduate pre-professional institution with an integrative core. And I don't know if I'm going on too long, but I'll just move to my third point, those students who are taking notes, which is what would you expect differently if you were to attend an Irish or indeed English institution and a place like John Carroll. In a sense, they mirror each other. So when John Carroll students go to NUIG, they tend to take courses that fill out our core curriculum, or what we sometimes call general education courses. They may take some courses that apply to their major, but they particularly will take courses that fill our very large, we have 120 hours to graduate, and close to half of that is non-major, that is to say non-specialist courses. So they would be filling in the non-specialist courses. When the Irish students come to us, they are placed by our academic advisors, usually in very high-level undergraduate courses, and we even open the possibility of them taking graduate courses. Because of the smaller core curricula for general education in every other system of education than the Jesuits. They have already taken much of their specialist courses and are well on their way to higher levels of inquiry. And so they're coming in. And so the second major difference is and the students, we have a little dialogue every year between the Irish and the American students to let students interested in this program know what they can expect. And the Irish students say they wish they could hide more because the class is 20, 15, 7, and they wish that they could occasionally not talk in class. But that's not possible at a place like John Carroll's size and pedagogical method. The American students say, oh, I love this freedom. I love that I'm in this big lecture and then I have sometimes tutorials, but I love making my own way and sort of being free to maybe not read everything in time for class. Not that that's universally done in Ireland, I don't mean to say that, but free to be part of a larger discussion. And so the lecture tutorial method is not used much at John Carroll. It's not ever used systematically. And the size of the class, the different level of class placement, and the different course selection all actually are the inverse of each other for our exchange of students. So thank you, and I'll turn it back.
Dr. McGeehan with Cleveland State University will tell us about Cleveland State, which formerly 50 years ago was going to Spen College and became Cleveland State University, and they're celebrating their 50th anniversary right now.
Exactly. Thank you very much, and thank you all for being here this morning. Thank you to the Mayo Society, to Mr. Sweeney in particular. I'm very pleased that the Mayo Society would let somebody from County Down participate in their... So I'm one of the few people up here who's actually from Ireland, so that I can actually speak reasonably informed way about both systems of education, although I grew up in a British system being from Northern Ireland, but my husband's from UCD and my brother went to UC University College Cork. For those of you who are history fans, of course, what that means is that we were all went to the former Queen's colleges set up by Sir Robert Peel and Queen Victoria, and only my alma mater, Queen's University Belfast, retained the title, the others becoming part of the constituent elements of the National University of Ireland. Be that as it may, I'm not going to bore you with too much of a history lesson. Suffice it to say, first of all, it's very humbling to be working at a university that's younger than oneself. We are, you might say, the young kids on the block, and we are perhaps sometimes the cheeky young kids on the block. We don't feel the burden of history. We feel liberated to do many things. But what we are, of course, very importantly, as I always say, we are Cleveland's university. We are in the city, of the city, by, with, and from the city. And I think as any of you who know Cleveland and Cleveland State University know that our fortunes have been intimately linked. I'm very pleased to say that both are doing extremely well now. And as the city's fortunes have gone up, have ours. And I think actually that we have been a very strong role and partner in ensuring that Cleveland is doing well. Without giving you a complete history lesson on the public universities, Cleveland State University is a proud member of the Ohio Public University System. I think Ohio has been long acknowledged and regarded for its investment in public education. And whilst all states have seen a decline in that public investment, I think Ohio still is very supportive, and Governor Casey is very supportive of public education. If you understand the public universities and land-grant universities, you will know that their history is a very important part of this country's development, because President Lincoln and very insightful senators such as Senator Morrill understood, especially after the Civil War, that if it was to have a vibrant democratic society, you had to have an informed, literate, and educated citizenry. And that, of course, is the founding blocks of all democracy. And so they decided that they would create public and land-grant universities where citizens could have access to education, and where men and women, regardless of gender, class, and race, could have access to an education and turn them into citizens, and more importantly for the very young republic, the workforce. And that continues to be a very strong element in the public and land-grant universities, and that is the system I've worked in through all of my life here in the United States. I've been at the University of Maine, the land-grant university there, and then part of the North Carolina system in Ohio. So I've had the pleasure of working with some of the best public systems in the country. And that notion of the public and land-grant universities was, as I say, to give access to people regardless of background and to prepare the workforce. And that is very much part of the ethos of Cleveland State University. We pride ourselves on the access and affordability and the role that we play in forming the educated citizenry and workforce of Cleveland, Cuyahoga County, Northeast Ohio, and the state and nation in general. And in our 50 years, I think we've done very well in that regard. And if you look certainly at a good chunk of the lawyers here in Cleveland, and much of the workforce, the hospitals, businesses, retail, and in both public and private sectors, you will see many, many Cleveland State University graduates. And we had one heck of a party last weekend when we shut down Euclid Avenue. Had a great big parade, a block party in which thousands participated, and enjoyed having fun celebrating our success. Let me say a little bit about how we continue to play that role and ensuring that mission. We are now some 17,000 students, over 17,000, almost 18,000 students strong, of which 6,000 are graduate students, many of them in professional schools. We cover, of course, now a huge array of subjects and colleges. Yesterday I was holed up with all our deans on a retreat. What we're really focused on is looking at positioning Cleveland State University for long-term sustainability, because I think, as many of you know, education in this country, particularly public education, but private as well, are sort of feeling what Harold McMillan once called the winds of change, demographic and economic forces that are buffeting all of us, and that means we all have to adjust. You know, I'm a sailor, and I was telling somebody, you may set out and say that's my destination, but any of you have sailed on Lake Erie, and you can decide that's where you're going and you want to be in port by whatever, but there's these things called winds and tides and currents to get in your way, and you have to learn to tack and adjust in your course, because if you fail to do so, you'll either end up flipped off or many miles off course. So all of us are in that period of adjustment. But we now have all the colleges you would expect to find in a major public university: College of Law, College of Business, College of Arts and Social Sciences, College of Education, Nursing, the College of Science and Health Professions, and the College of Urban Affairs, one of our big nationally ranked colleges. And so you can pursue almost any degree at Cleveland State University. And now we're very proud to add to that list that, in partnership with another great public institution, NeoMed, Northeast Ohio Medical School, Cleveland now has a public medical university presence, because we in our new building that you may see next to Trinity, we had to knock down the Rascal House and a few little places like that. But you will see an exciting new venture going up. It's not only exciting in the sense of it's two public institutions coming together in a partnership, but it's actually pioneering a whole new way of preparing people in the health system for interdisciplinary training systems. So we will be preparing doctors, working alongside nurses, OT, PT, physician's assistants, audiology. It's the way of the future in medicine, and that's what we're preparing. And that's what we like to think of ourselves as doing. It's also a commitment, it's a statement of commitment to this city, because what we want to prepare primarily are doctors, primary care physicians, who will work and cater to the population of this city. And we are particularly interested in bringing in a diverse population of students in that. Of course, part of doing that also means this very strong partnership that we have with our community college partners. Just about 50% of our students are transfer students, about 50% of those students. Gone are the days, by the way, when Cleveland was this part-time commuter college. 80% of our students are now full-time. When I say full-time, they're carrying a full load. That doesn't mean they're not working. Because believe me, we have a lot of very gritty, determined, hard-working students who are balancing work, family responsibilities, and all those things. And they're fantastic students. I'm in awe of them. I don't think I could have done what they do. They're fantastic students. And a lot of them come to us through the community college system. And they do extraordinarily well. In fact, transfer students, on the whole, do better than those who come in as first-year students. They've learned how to be students. They've learned how to be they've learned how to learn, and they have covered a lot of the basics by the time they come to us. And now, I think, particularly with the new budgetary system that we have, I think you're going to see a stronger collaboration and understanding that it makes sense for students to do just what you were talking about, Marcia, which is do their first 2-3 years and then move on, get their associate's degree, or through dual enrollment or reverse transfer, any of those things that we do. But it also means that we are extraordinarily committed to student success. We offer accessibility, we offer affordability. But Gordon Gee, who said a lot of things in his career, he said something about Irish which got him into trouble. but one of the things, so, you know, what do you say? But he's just a wise man. One of the things he said was access and affordability, no bargain without completion. And so we are committed to student success. And we put in extraordinary efforts into ensuring that the students who start with us will finish with us, will finish in a timely way. Because all of you, any of you who are parents know the price of education these days. And for a lot of our students, they pay for that through loans, through family, everybody's trying to get. You do not want them to spend years and years trying to find out who they are and what they need to go into. You want to get them in and out in a timely way in a degree that makes sense to them. And so that is a huge priority for all of us. It seems silly to say that after 50, 100, 150 years, universities have discovered student success is important, but clearly it is these days when student debt is a big issue. So you will see us doing many of those things. We are extraordinarily attentive to and sensitive to the workforce needs of this region. I think what you've seen, for instance, is a huge growth in the health sciences in our area, a huge growth, as expanded recently in our partnership with Neomed. And also a big commitment to other parts. The engineering school, which has just received considerable investments, unfortunately in Wasclish, and then where you're going to see that growing exponentially. And a huge investment in the arts. We co-own and run one of those theaters in the theater district. So I think what you see as we move forward is this continuing investment in Cleveland and for Cleveland, and a huge commitment to be a partner, not just with the city and the region, but with our colleagues in the community college system, being Tri-C, Lakeland, all of our Lorraine, all of our partners, because we all have to work together to continue to grow and enhance this city and this region, which is coming back, thank God, and is doing well, but we need to make sure it's positioned for sustained growth. And we are one of those very strong partners in that.